Hey guys, Omaha here. Today I'm going over my Call of Duty tier list. This is a multiplayer only tier list. I'm going to do a separate one probably for the campaign and then maybe one for zombies or just the third modes in general, like survival and zombies, stuff like that. This one's multiplayer only, and this is coming from a perspective of someone who's played every multiplayer Call of Duty since Call of Duty 4. Did not play the first three, and 90% of my gameplay probably has been search and destroy. So, search and destroy is a lot different than multi-life modes. Some maps play a lot better than search and destroy or in multi-life mode and vice versa. So that is my perspective on this tier list. So you guys can kind of see where I'm coming from. But first of all, we're going to go over the first three. Obviously, I haven't played any multiplayer on these three, like I said before, so I can't say whether they were good or bad. I think the general consensus is they're pretty mid or lower end, but again, I can't speak to that. Call of Duty 4 is where I started. I started around January, I think. I was playing Halo 3 nonstop since that came out, so I didn't jump on the train of Call of Duty 4 when it launched. I specifically remember getting it around January, I think 2008, so I was a little bit late, but I still played it when it was out. So this game was iconic because it flipped the first-person shooter genre on its head. You had the kill streak system. There was only 3 kill streaks at the time, but that was, I think, new to shooters in general. You had the perks, the create a class. There were a lot of good maps and a lot of bad maps. I think the maps are kind of 50-50 on COD 4. Obviously, they're kind of iconic. People remember all the maps, but I personally think some of them were that great. You had some good maps, though, like Backlot, Crash, Vacant, Overgrown. Loved all those maps. They're iconic. I still wish they brought Overgrown back a couple more times. Seems like they bring back some of the other maps like Crash a little bit too much. But yeah, M16, that thing dominated this game. There were some cons. Stopping power and Juggernaut. I can't stand those in Call of Duties. They're pretty crutch. You needed to be running one or the other, it seems like. This also had the 3x frag perk, which was insane. That was kind of busted as well. So there's some cons, but there's a lot of pros, and this was what started it all. The lower end of A or the higher end of B is where I'd want to put this. I think for now, we'll leave it at the high end of B, and we might end up switching that later, just based on where everything else goes. After that, we had World at War. World at War, again, I love this Call of Duty. It seems like most people either love or hate this Call of Duty. I know a lot of people don't like the World War II games. I love the World War II games. I love World War II shooters and all that, so that's not a negative for me. But yeah, I loved all the guns. The maps, it's hard to remember which maps I really liked, but I remember not really hating any of the maps. I know people hated CeeLo because of the tanks and stuff. I don't remember tanks being in Search and Destroy, but I could be wrong on that. Probably am. I just personally don't remember tanks being in CeeLo. So I thought CeeLo was all right. They had iconic maps like Castle, Dome. What else was there? Cliffside, another amazing map. They brought that back in Black Ops 1, I think. And then there were some bad maps. People didn't like CeeLo, again, like I said, but I kind of liked the map. I thought it was all right. Overall, back then when I was playing these two games, when I was playing bad maps, I didn't really care because everything was so new. I was having fun no matter what map I was playing. And again, Search and Destroy, I kind of always just have fun. Depends. Newer Call of Duties, I guess, the maps make a bigger difference for me. But back then, it was so new that it didn't really matter. I actually did like this more than COD 4. I think this is an A tier Call of Duty for me. Then we had Modern Warfare 2. This Call of Duty, you could ask pretty much any YouTuber, they'll put it in the S tier. I don't agree with that, but again, this year with Modern Warfare 2, all my friends were playing on Xbox 360, and I was on PlayStation 3, so I didn't really have friends that I was playing with at the time. I was mostly solo queuing. I think I had one friend that I was playing with. So that made a difference, obviously. Again, we had the kill streaks coming in. We had like AC-130, had multiple streaks. That was huge for this game. I still remember the reveal trailer. One of the beginning trailers, they showed off the Semtex, and everyone was freaking out about that. I thought it was so cool. Yeah, you had the nuke. That was iconic. People love the nuke. I think this is an A tier Call of Duty. It also had a lot of cons. You had the one-man army and danger close with the grenade launchers and search and destroy. Man, I remember getting noob tubed across the map at spawn. That was a huge problem. You had the care package glitch that wasn't fixed for a really long time with a knife where you could just be cracked out of your mind. That was pretty ridiculous. But really, I think all of the fan favorite Call of Duties had stupid stuff like that. I mean, you had the Model 1887s. Those things were ridiculous. They ended up being nerfed, I think, eventually. Hard to remember because it's so long ago. But yeah, the maps, I mean, we're playing the maps now. There's maps that are amazing. Well, I'm kind of tired of all the maps now because we've been playing them so much. But yeah, People Terminal. I don't know if people like Estate. I like Estate, but that's iconic to me. Stuff like that. So Modern Warfare 2 is iconic. Not much else to say. Then we had Black Ops 1, and this is, well, it is an S tier Call of Duty for me. So many good things in this Call of Duty. We had the wager matches. Man, that was one of the funnest things about that game. The COD points back then, I loved the way they had the COD points. You know, you couldn't buy it with real money. You had the wager matches. You had to buy stuff with your COD points. Unfortunately, that's almost certainly never going to come back because of how you can buy COD points now. And that would basically just be straight up gambling. They're never going to do that in Call of Duty again. Sucks. Yeah, we had the wager matches, man. It was so fun going to the high stakes games. You had the Galil, you had the FAMAS, you had like the MPL, you had some iconic guns in that game, the Commando, you had some absolutely banger maps, you had Firing Range, you had Cliffside, which was from World at War. Can't remember what they changed the name to. Oh yeah, Hazard, good map. I think Black Ops 1 had some of the best DLC maps they've ever added in the COD. That first map pack was probably still my favorite DLC pack. It had Kowloon, Berlin Wall, Discovery, and Stadium. All four of those were amazing maps for me on Search and Destroy. I love them. You had some other good maps like Zoo. I loved Zoo. When I think of Black Ops 1, I can't really think of many maps that I didn't like other than Havana. I did not like. I remember that. Radiation, I remember not liking that map. I don't know if people like that map or not. And then Hanoi, I thought was kind of annoying here and there. But other than that, man, those weren't even really that bad for bad maps. So this game overall for me just had amazing maps. The guns, the kill streaks in that game, the chopper gunner, the dogs, all that stuff. I love that stuff. Then we have Modern Warfare 3, which is my favorite Call of Duty of all time. This is the GOAT for me. Okay, we had iconic guns, the ACR, the MP7. We had amazing maps. I loved almost all the maps in Modern Warfare 3. We had maps like Dome, Resistance. Those are probably the best two that I can think of. The DLC maps were pretty good. I liked Liberation a lot. That Central Park map, I thought that was fun. And then we had Face Off, which is still one of the best modes that Call of Duty's ever added, and I wish that would come back as it was then. That was one of my favorite modes to play as well, besides Search and Destroy. And it had Search and Destroy in it, so that helped. But it had its problems too. Probably the two biggest problems I can think of with that game were SitRep Pro and Recon Pro. Both of those kind of plagued the game, but back then it was the type of thing where you wouldn't always see people running it unless somebody else was already running it. It's kind of like an unspoken thing people did. Even with these Call of Duties, like stuff like that. Yeah, I kind of remember people not really using it, and then once you saw somebody using it, it was just fair game. Everybody would run it, and the match was kind of just crazy at that point. But I mean, we had like the kill streak system, which I still think is the best kill streak system they've ever had in the game. You had the support streaks, you had the assault streaks, I think it was called, and then you had the specialist bonus kills, or the perks, whatever it was called, specialist package. All three of those, I wish they would come back and do that for every Call of Duty. I think that was the best system, because people could still get streaks with support streaks. They weren't like getting fat kills or anything like that, but you're still helping the team out, and they persisted through death. I thought that was cool. It did have the death streaks, I think, still, and I didn't like death streaks in any of the Call of Duties. Those are gone now, thankfully. But again, the prestige system in Modern Warfare 3 and I think Black Ops 2, I think is the best they've ever done it. They had the prestige tokens where you can carry something forward. I love that system. I thought that was the best way to do it. So yeah, had a lot of things going for it. There's no perfect Call of Duty. Every single one has cons. Next up was Black Ops 2. This is another S tier Call of Duty. This is kind of interchangeable for me between Black Ops 1. I could put this in either order. Modern Warfare 3 is still my GOAT, but if I had to rate a Call of Duty based on maps alone, I would say Black Ops 2 is the best. Just, there were almost no maps that I didn't like. The only maps I would say I didn't like, Overflow was kind of mid, and then Plaza. I remember hating Plaza for some reason. I didn't like it at all in Search and Destroy. Other than that, man, the maps were just so good. Grind is still one of the best DLC maps. Probably the best DLC map they've ever added to a Call of Duty. It's definitely up there. But man, they had some good maps. You got Raid, Hijack, Express, Slums, Studio. Man, there were some good maps. That was a remake of Firing Range, I believe. All Hollywood themed. I thought that was awesome. Yeah, some great maps. Awesome kill streaks. You had like the Lodestar, the K9s. You had the Swarm. That thing was crazy. The Hunter-Killer drone was awesome. AGR. Man, they had some good kill streaks in that game. Then you had like iconic guns like the M8, A1. I think it was A1. It was M8 something. M8A1, I think. Full round burst. Man, that thing was insane. That was probably the best gun in the game. MSMC. Those are probably the top two guns. Those guns were iconic. And then one thing I don't think they've even done since then, they may have, but I can't remember them doing it, is adding, they had 10 pages of 10 creative classes. So you had like 100 creative classes. Now they limit you to 10 for some reason. I don't see why they do that, but I love that Black Ops 2 had that. I can't remember if any of the future Call of Duties after that had it. I don't remember that being the case. It might have been like Black Ops 3 had something like that, but I can't remember. But yeah, there isn't a lot of negatives when it comes to Modern Warfare 3, Black Ops 2, and Black Ops 1, in my opinion. And then another thing I forgot to mention that I loved is the Pick 10 system. That is something that should be in every Call of Duty probably. I think it is a fantastic way to balance the game out really well. All right, this is where Call of Duty started to go downhill. So we had the golden era of Call of Duty from Modern Warfare 2, I'd say, until Black Ops 2. That was probably the golden era. If you missed that era, I'm sorry, that really sucks, because that was really when Call of Duty was at its peak. This is where it started to go downhill, Ghosts onward. Okay, so Ghosts, personally, didn't have a huge issue with. There's a lot of things I didn't like, but I don't think it was as trash as a lot of people are saying. I think nowadays we have a lot of things that are worse than what Ghosts was at the time. So for maps with Ghosts, the maps were so forgettable, I really can't remember any maps. I kind of remember what they look like, I don't remember any names, but we had Stronghold, I remember. That's the only map I can remember the name of. And that was like playing Where's Waldo in Call of Duty, man. Everybody had to run a thermal sight just to find people on that map. It was ridiculous. Way too big, way too open. Terrible map, terrible map. I honestly can't remember any other maps, so that's saying something, I guess. The time to kill was fast. I think all the good Call of Duties that people love, the fan favorites, all had quick time to kills, and I don't know why people want the slower time to kill nowadays. I don't like it at all. I don't know why they say that when all their favorite games had fast time. Yeah, that's my opinion on the time to kill. Didn't bother me that it was fast. I do remember now them having the similar kill streak system to Modern Warfare 3. I think I said Modern Warfare 3 was the only one that had the support in the assault streaks. This one did have it as well, which I did like. So I like the streak system in this. They had the KEM strike, which was dope. And then they had the perk system was way different. I don't remember exactly how it worked, but I remember it was really unique. And I didn't really mind it. I thought it was cool. So I like that they tried something different. Again, the maps kind of sucked. Don't really remember any of them, but that's kind of where it sits for me. It was just a very mid-COD, kind of probably lower end of C tier. All right, next we had Advanced Warfare. So I wasn't a fan of the advanced movement at all, and this was the worst case of the advanced movement. It was way too much. The SBMM in this game was cracked out of its mind. I couldn't stand that. Maps, extremely forgettable like Ghosts. I don't even remember the maps hardly at all. I remember what they look like, but I don't remember any names or anything. If I jumped into a game on a map, I'd probably remember it then, but I can't remember it now off the top of my head. Kill streaks. Again, I think they had score streaks in this one. I remember the Goliath, the Paladin, stuff like that. And then I think they had like the DNA bomb or something. But yeah, I was not a fan of the advanced movement. It really did not do it for me. And this was the worst version of the advanced movement that they had. But I remember the Obsidian Steed. I don't remember what the default version of that gun was called, but I remember they had the weapon variants. I thought that idea was kind of cool. But again, none of the guns really stood out. I remember the Moors, obviously, because it's in now, Modern Warfare 3. Yeah, this Call of Duty didn't do it for me. The advanced movement was not my thing. They had the Exo launcher where you could use your lethals, shoot them from your wrist, which was whatever. I mean, that wasn't really changing anything. Exo abilities, it's kind of like field upgrades now. I think they had like a cloak, they had like a Dead Silence one, a stim one, stuff like that. But yeah, this Call of Duty wasn't great. I wasn't a fan of it at all. Some people like the advanced movement. I hated it. And that brought us to Black Ops 3. So this was way better in terms of the advanced movement. And this is the only thing hurting the game for me, besides the supply drops, was the advanced movement. The supply drops in this game were stupid because you basically had to pay a buttload of money with just a chance of getting the new guns. There was no other way to get them, as far as I can remember. So that was a huge downside. And then the movement, I was not a fan of. If we're talking zombies, that's a whole different thing. This isn't zombies. This is just multiplayer. So this was like a B tier Call of Duty for me. Did some cool kill streaks like the wraps and stuff. They brought back a lot of cool guns. The maps weren't bad. I didn't really mind the maps. But yeah, the advanced movement doesn't cut it for me. This was the best implementation, though, of the advanced movement Call of Duties. I'll say this is the best advanced movement Call of Duty. After that, we have Infinite Warfare. Now, for my tier list, everything D and up, I've enjoyed playing at least somewhat. I've had fun on Advanced Warfare, had fun here and there. Overall, I wasn't really a big fan of the game, but I had fun on it. F tier is a whole different case. I didn't have any fun with this game at all. This is the worst Call of Duty in franchise history. And the only reason I think it got sales was because of Modern Warfare Remastered. They bundled it with that just to get sales for this game, in my opinion. Yeah, this game is what sold Infinite Warfare. I remember playing the beta and already knowing I wasn't going to like the game. This is the only Call of Duty where I didn't reach the base, rank 55, whatever the highest rank is for the base ranks. The only Call of Duty where I've never made it that far. So that's saying something. I hated this Call of Duty. Never want to touch it again. Don't remember anything about it other than hating it. It's very forgettable, very terrible. That's where that goes. Terrible game. Modern Warfare Remastered. This is what sold Infinite Warfare, and it was a worse version of Call of Duty Modern Warfare in my opinion, other than graphics. I didn't like how the way they brought in new guns. I think there could have been a way to go about it to make it work, but the way they did it, it just didn't work for me. And I think it had supply drops too, stuff like that. It's kind of just ruined. Left a sour taste in my mouth. But yeah, it was just a worse version of COD 4. Like, I don't know what to say other than that. It wasn't terrible, but it wasn't as good as the original. After that, we had Black Ops 4. This had some of the best mastery camos probably of any Call of Duty. Still remember the final camo was amazing. This was an A tier Call of Duty for me. Probably the lower end of A tier. Did a lot of things right, a lot of things wrong. One thing I did not like was changing the game to 5v5. I thought that was a change for the worse. Luckily, they didn't keep that. But yeah, I did not like that. The maps were, a lot of them actually were brought back, like remade maps or just remastered maps. Like they brought back Jungle, Grind, a lot of the fan favorites, Launch, Summit. So that was a part of it. The maps weren't too bad, but some of the OG maps were pretty good too. Like Hacienda, I liked a lot, and Gridlock, I remember being pretty fun. And then Contraband, I think it was another one that I kind of liked. But yeah, the maps were overall, I'd say, good. The remade maps obviously were really good. They brought back a lot of the fan favorites, but Slums was in there too. So yeah, they had a lot of fan favorites. The guns, I remember the Spitfire being insane. They had a lot of cool guns in that. ICR, the VMP, I think it was called. Titan LMG was good. Some other things I didn't like I think score streaks persisted through death in this one. I don't think that should ever be a thing. Well, when there's support streaks like Modern Warfare 3, it's a different thing. But these were like just full on like the normal kill streaks, but they were all score streak and they were all persisting through death. Like AC-130 was like the last kill streak, I think, and that you could get through death. Stuff like that I didn't really like, but it wasn't too bad. It wasn't like the worst thing ever. I think they introduced control in this Call of Duty, and I love that mode still. I think it's still in Call of Duty now. I haven't really played it since very much, but I love that game mode. It's a good game mode. Again, I play mostly search and destroy, so. But yeah, a lot of good things going for it, a lot of negatives, but this is where Call of Duty kind of started to go back uphill for me after all that slogging through the advanced movement and stuff, grinding all that out. Started to come back with Black Ops 4. Next, we had Modern Warfare 2019, and for me, this is the top of the A tier. This game was really fun. This brought back a ton of people from Call of Duty. I know a lot of people returned for this game. Did a ton of things right. I love the time to kill. Movement was pretty good. I remember specifically 2 things that really brought this game down, I think, for most people, and that's not having dead silence as a perk in some sort of capacity. It was a field upgrade, but they needed some sort of dead silence as a perk. And then the other thing was the maps. There were a lot of bad maps in this game. There's a lot of maps I liked, like Grozny Raid on Search and Destroy I liked. I know in multi-life modes it wasn't very loved, but in Search I liked it a lot. Hackney Yard was another one that I liked a lot. But yeah, I know there's a lot of maps that people absolutely despise. Like Piccadilly, people usually hate that map. On Search and Destroy, I actually think it was fine. I didn't really mind it on Search and Destroy, but other game modes I could see people hating that map. It wasn't very good on other modes. And then Euphrates Bridge might be the worst Call of Duty map we've ever had, and that was the game. I think that even got taken out of like 6v6 for a while because it was so bad. But yeah, a lot of cool things coming back. The modern era is what people tend to love the most, and the graphics were insane, the animations were insane. Really just a solid overall comeback for Call of Duty. Another thing about Modern Warfare 2019, I think this and World War II, I would say, are the biggest leaps graphically that Call of Duty's had, from what I can remember. I specifically remember World War II being blown away when I booted up the campaign, and I remember Modern Warfare 2019 being blown away in the alpha playing Gunfight. The graphics and sound design in Modern Warfare 2019 were top-notch. I remember that specifically. The developers actually went out and shot all those weapons and recorded the actual audio, so that's probably why the gun sounded so good. A lot of effort went into this game, and you could totally tell the devs, this was like their passion project. After that, we had Cold War. So this is going to get a lot of hate, but I did not like Cold War. I think it was a big step backwards from everything Modern Warfare 2019 did. Graphically, it was worse. The gunplay felt worse to me. Yeah, it's the maps. The maps were probably as good as Modern Warfare 19 or better, but really just overall the whole game just felt like a step backwards. So I didn't really play it a whole lot. I hit the original, like the OG max rank, like 55 or whatever, but I didn't really go into like the prestiging, even though it was a traditional prestige. I didn't really go too far into that. I unlocked everything, and that was about all I wanted to do. Didn't really love the game. I probably overall liked it more than Advanced Warfare though, so I know it's gonna get a lot of hate, but it's gonna go to the top of D tier for me. It just didn't do it for me. Wasn't a fan. After that, we had Vanguard, and this is gonna get hate again because I actually liked Vanguard. Unless we're talking about the campaign, that's a different tier list, but that's the worst campaign they probably ever had. Multiplayer though, I liked the maps, the guns I liked, the time to kill, I liked the fast time to kill again. That one perk, Piercing Vision, I know plagued the game. They never did anything about it really, and it was insane. It was just so busted that kind of did ruin a lot of things for people. I remember specifically the MWIII combined with Piercing Vision. I probably dropped 40 nukes in the span of 2 weeks with the MWIII when that first came out with Piercing Vision. Probably the most busted combo I've seen in Call of Duty in a very, very long time. So yeah, You can cheese with piercing vision on search and destroy extremely easily. I was one of those guys doing that. Sorry, not sorry, but that's not why I like the game. I liked a lot of things about the game, like the guns, everything felt good, but I didn't like the red dots being in a World War II game. I know people didn't really have a problem with that. I just thought it was kind of weird, but yeah. I think if you're gonna go World War II, you might as well just go World War II. But it was a B tier game. It had so many issues, but it had a lot of things that I liked too. And I know overall this is a pretty hated Call of Duty. A lot of people don't like it, but personally, I thought it was pretty good. Then we had Modern Warfare 2. Now, my biggest issue with Modern Warfare 2 is the maps. There is not a single map. Well, there's the only map I could rate B tier or even higher, but it's probably a B tier map is the Crown Raceway that I can think off the top of my head. All the other maps in that game were C tier or lower. They were just not good maps. The maps sucked. We had the highway map with all the cars that blew up on Search and Destroy. If they didn't reset, or if they didn't reset the cars every round, it might have been a little better. But the cars reset every round, and you could launch javelins, and I did it myself. Launch javelins across the map, get triple kills, quad kills, blowing up cars with the javelin. It was kind of stupid. You had bad maps like that. The game was just plagued with bad maps. Not really any memorable maps. Yeah, that really brought it down. The perk system was trash. I hope we never see that again. Earning your perks mid-game was the dumbest idea they've had in a while. The guns, however, I think the guns were great. We had a lot of good guns. I liked a lot of the guns. They did the MP7 kind of dirty in that game, which sucked. It was nothing like the old MP7s. Even the Modern Warfare 2019 MP7 was good. But the Camaro is still one of my favorite guns of all time in Call of Duty, from this game specifically. It's not as good in Modern Warfare 3, but I love that gun. Probably, yeah, one of my favorite guns. Kill streaks were good. I like the kill streaks. Just the maps, man. The maps really hurt this game. And the SBMM, obviously, but that's the past couple. Not going to rate it based on the SBMM too much. Then we had Modern Warfare 3. That's what's out now. Really, I'm sick of the maps. I know people like the maps. I think it was a really safe move for them to try to just bring back the OG maps, knowing people would ride off the nostalgia. And I think that's kind of what's hurting the game the most in terms of replayability, is just playing these same maps that we've been playing for years and years and years, because they brought these maps back in other Call of Duties as well. But overall, the maps aren't inherently bad. It's just we've played them so much. The guns, I don't like actually any of the newer guns from Modern Warfare 3. I don't like as much as I like the Modern Warfare 2 guns. Obviously, they perform better in this game because they're not going to buff these guns to be as good, but I'm not too crazy about the guns in Modern Warfare 3. They're just whatever. The kill streaks are good. I like the kill streaks. I like that they're adding new kill streaks. And the DLC maps aren't good, but they're not really that bad either. I don't even want to put this in the B tier. I haven't actually rated it yet, but I was just moving it around. This is going to be in the C tier. It's got to be close to Modern Warfare 2. There's things, I think it'll go higher than Modern Warfare 2 overall, just because the maps I enjoy more than Modern Warfare 2. But the time to kill, I cannot stand in Modern Warfare 3. I don't like high time to kill. I don't think it makes the game better, contrary to what people think. I don't think it increases the skill gap very much compared to what other people think. It's just not as fun for me. Like I said before, everybody looks back on the old CODs as their favorite CODs. Those all had extremely low time to kill. So I don't think the time to kill is actually what people really want. And really, it's just the time to kill combined with the movement. I think those two things together kind of hurt the game for me. Like if we had the faster movement and we had lower time to kill, it would be awesome. I wouldn't mind it as much. But the high speed movement combined with the high time to kill, or high time to kill, really, I don't like it. We're not playing Halo 3, man. I'm not here trying to mag dump an entire guy to kill one person. I don't know. Obviously, that's not the case for a lot of the guns, but you know what I mean. The time to kill is just too high. Hey guys, Omaha back during editing. I actually rated this a little bit too low. I think it needs to go in like the B tier towards the end. Probably better than mobile too. It's definitely better than Modern Warfare 2, so that's where I'm going to put it. I don't know why I rated it as low as I did. It should go a little higher. I have fun on it, so that's where it'll go. And then what's next? Black Ops 6 is on here. I played it. It was amazing. It's going to be a good game. Just kidding. I haven't played it. It's not out. No one's played it yet. Well, I'm sure probably some YouTubers have played it. I haven't been able to play it. I'm not big enough. So never played Call of Duty China Warfare. Never played. I heard really good things about it. They kind of just add everything that people want from Call of Duties into that. I don't even know if it's still in development, but yeah, I haven't played it. Call of Duty Mobile. This is another case of where they add things that people want. The community app begs for in console and PC games. They just add it to the mobile game because they're trying to just over monetize the crap out of this game, which sucks. That being said, it does have all the fan favorite game kill streaks and guns and maps, and I've played it a little bit, but I haven't even hit max rank. So it's a mobile game, and I'm not a mobile gamer, and that will bring it. I don't know if I should rate it because it's a mobile game, if I should take that into account or not. I guess I'll play it safe and I'll put it in the B tier. Because overall, for a mobile game, it's good. I just don't like mobile. That's where I'm going to stick that. Warzone Mobile, never played it. Have no desire to play that. Why would I play that when I could play the normal Warzone? Call of Duty Warzone. S tier, super good. Everybody was playing this during COVID lockdown. That's probably a lot of nostalgia for people because being locked up playing that. That might be why people rate it higher. It might be why I rate it higher. But I remember having fond memories of it. I remember being pretty good at it. Warzone 2, I wasn't as good at. I didn't play nearly as much. I think my highest kill game was like 33 or 34, some like 33, I think it was. So yeah, I wasn't like god tier or anything, but I was pretty good at it overall, and I had a lot of fun on it. Time to kill felt a lot better. I don't know if it's even different, but it felt a lot better than it does now in Warzone. I like it when it's faster, and it felt faster in that. Obviously, when they had the DMR, I think that's what it was, or the marksman rifle, whatever it was that came out, I think it was the DMR. That thing was insanely broken. That kind of ruined it for a while. But overall, man, the map on that Verdansk is S tier. I hope they bring that back eventually. Super fun on that. Warzone was super. I don't know what else to say. Warzone 2 was a big step backwards for me. Didn't really enjoy it all that much, but it wasn't completely garbage. I think C tier is somewhere where I'd put that. It's pretty mid. Didn't find myself playing very often. Blackout, I loved when that dropped. I think that was a huge step in the right direction for Battle Rails. I wish they kept more elements of that for Warzone. I love like the grappling hook and all that kind of stuff, the wingsuit, getting around the map. I actually love the map in that mode as well. I think Blackout, if it would have been free to play, it would have been a lot bigger than it was. Being locked behind the paywall for Black Ops 4, I think really hurt that. And I think it would have been loved a lot more by people if it was free to play, like Warzone was. Realistically, I think this is probably gonna have to go like right in here. I loved Blackout; thought it was great. And then I think the rest of the stuff down here is just World at War, Final Frontier. I don't even know. This is all like really don't even know what this stuff is. So yeah, probably all mobile versions. But I'm just gonna. There's zombies in here. This isn't for. Those aren't for multiplayer. So I'm just gonna stick all these down here, or maybe I'll just leave them down since they're not even multiplayer related. But yeah, that's my tier list. Let me know if you guys agree or disagree down below. That's where I'm at. Again, like the video and sub if you guys want to see more content like this. Peace.